All right, so this is what a typical book looks like when an author sends it across to you, or what your book usually looks like. Yeah. So we're going to use this unformatted book to create our different format for Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Now, mind you, this particular lesson is not about teaching you what is right or wrong to be in your book, or whether what should come first or not, but this is about arranging your book, right? So your editor or your proofreader should be able to properly align your book and set it in a way that it follows the best structure that fits your kind of book. So this is a book I have ghostwritten, and I've written with the pen name that I want to publish on Amazon for the purposes of this tutorial. So quickly, like I have earlier shared with you, we are going to first of all start with the trim size of this book. I am deciding to go with 5.5 by 8.5 at the trim size of the book. So the first thing you want to do when you have any book to format is try as much as possible to define the trim size. Right. So you come, by the way, I'm using Microsoft Office 16, and that's what I'm currently using to do this formatting. So in case you see that your own outlook and layout is different from what mine has, then know that you're using a different format. Albeit it's also the same technically. Yeah. So what you're looking forward to get is this part where I see layout. You come to size, tap on that, and you come to this part where you see more paper sizes. Now, ordinarily, I would have selected statement, which is 5.5 by 8.5 that I wanted, but I would always prefer to click on more paper sizes because this helps me really have the best outlook for what I'm about to work on. Now, you can see that the moment I clicked on that, I have this part that says paper size. That is what I will now work with, the width and the height. So this width, I will change this width to 5.5, and I will change this height to 8.5, and that automatically sets my paper size to 5.5 by 8.5. Ensure that this is set to apply to whole document. Then next you come to margins, and depending on the volume of your book and the style with which you want your book to take, you may want to leave your margins at 1 inch for every side: top, bottom, left, right. If your book is quite voluminous, and we are talking about like above 75,000 words, you may want to reduce the margins maybe to 0.7 or thereabout, and then change this part that says multiple pages to mirror margins. I'm doing this formatting with the intention and the idea that most people that are going to be working with their books have manuscripts of 20,000, 30,000 words and below. So this formatting style will work just fine for you. Again, margins 1 inch all through. Gutter, just leave it at left. Ensure that whatever you do, it's always applied to the whole document. Multiple pages, leave it at normal. Then return to this tab where you see layout. Click on that. Ensure that it says start at new page. The header and footer, leave it at 0.5 inch for both. Vertical alignment, make sure that this is always at top. Always at top. Then apply to whole document as well. You click on OK. So I haven't done that, just click on OK, and you will see that our book gains one style that sets the pace for the next set of things we are going to do right now. So I will go ahead now, just save that, and proceed to the next item on the list. So the next thing I would like to do is to just change the font. I'll change the font to what most books usually have, maybe Times New Roman or something else that I think just makes sense to me. Okay, after doing that, I'll press Ctrl A to highlight everything. Then I'll click on this part that says justify to make all the text align properly. Can you see that? I just click on justify to make all this align properly. Then this is the title of the book, right? While this is a dummy outline, which I will eventually change, but most authors will send you their book just like this, with a dummy outline like this, right? So what I want to do now work on is I want to start segmenting this book to make it appear better. So I want to first of all let the title and the author's name stand alone. Then I'll move this to the next page and then begin to make every other thing move um, to the next page and then begin to structure the entire book. So so what I'm going to do, I see that the font size here is quite tiny for this book. It's about 10 fonts. So I'm going to select everything and change this font to at least 12. I'll leave it at 12. I'll leave it at 12 so that I have something cool. Now, after selecting that and making it 12, I want to now work on the line spacing because line spacing is also very important. So, after you highlight everything, you click on this part that says paragraph settings, click on it like this. Then you want to double check to remove this for now, right? Alignment, leave it unjustified. Leave every other thing here. Don't worry about that. Just come to this part where you see before. Just make that 6, make this after 12, then single, and then make this 1.2. 1.2 is should be fine for this book. Now, one thing you should know is that there's no rule of thumb as far as this particular setting I have done is concerned. It all depends on the volume of your book, the style of the book, and this is just about you using your creativity. But what I'm showing you is like the basics of what you can do. So after you have done that, you click on OK, and this should be fine for now, right? Don't worry that the whole thing looks as though it's now scattered and we have too much spaces. Don't worry, these are all what we are going to fix. That's the essence of formatting, as it were, right? So having done that, now I want to start separating different segments of this book so that the book appears well. So this is the title. I will just separate. So to separate this, to make only the title stand alone on this page, I will click on this space that comes before this title, this introduction here. Then instead of using the enter key to move this downwards, I will rather use this part that says layout. I'll click on layout. Now you see this part that says breaks. That's what I'll click, and then I'll click on next page. So what I'm simply doing is inserting a page break here to separate the different pages. So when I click on that, it automatically moves everything beneath that line to the next page. So that's all I want to do. I separate that. Then I'll come down again here to this part where I have introduction, because introduction is an entirely new page. So I'll click on that, do the same thing here, move it to the next page. Then just adjust, remove all the extra spaces by using either backspace or delete, depending on the position of your cursor. So one thing I love to do is that I love to format and give my book structure as I make progress. So what I'm trying to say is that I will now begin to format my title. So how do I format my title? Highlight everything, come to home. Now I'm going to if I choose to, I can change the font style for this book, or I can just leave the font style and simply just increase the font size to something like this. I will change the alignment to center. Just tap this, it brings it to the center, and then I can now move the author's name a bit downwards and put it in the middle like this. Highlight everything and increase the font size as well. I can choose to make the title bold or not, and increase it again, something like this. So just play around. Remember, I said that this is just about you using your creativity to get what you want. So I'll just continue to tweak this until it looks fine for me. I can even choose to change the font style just to try out and see what works best. And I can even increase the size of this, to make it look nicer. What do you think about this? So also change this font size to Century Gothic, not because I have any particular preference for it, but because I just think it looks finer and better for me. So um, having done that, we can move to the next phase. So you just ignore all of this table of content aspect, which we will eventually work on. So we come to this part that says introduction, and now I'm going to start working with styles and heading right now, and that's why I needed to be sure of what I was doing. So now I'm going to make this heading one. So I'm going to make this heading one right now. So this is introduction, which is going to be my heading one. So I would let me remove that. Let's just be introduction of this. So I'll highlight this, increase because I want to make a distinction between the headings and the main text, the main body text. I would increase the size of this from 12 to like 16, make it bold, and if I want, I make it all caps. Then I start to format this heading. Anytime you want to work with spacing for any text inside here, you always come to this part that says paragraph settings. Click on it. Then I would like to add more spaces to my chapter title. I will use 60 and 30 for this part that says before and after. And that's all I just need to do. Click on OK. The essence is so that I can add more spaces at the top of this and also at the bottom. So I click on that, put it in the center, and then having done this, highlight everything just like you see me do. Then I will right click on this heading one showing here, then click on update heading one to match selection. Now why I have done this is so that I get this style that I've created saved, so that when I want to create a new heading one, I don't have to go through all those processes anymore, because this has already been saved for me here. Now that's all I need to do there. Then I just go forward to format all of these, remove extra spaces, remove extra spaces that I don't want. Now a I have a subheading here which I can refer to as heading 2. Now for this heading 2, I don't need to do so much. I will just highlight this, make this 14 so that the size can be different from what is in the main text. Make this 14, and I think I'm okay with the way it looks. I will just I'll just click here to move to this part where you see heading 2. All I just need to do is, while this is highlighted, I'll just right click on this part ahead, says heading 2, and click on update heading 2 to match selection. So having done that, you will see that this heading 2 automatically defaults to what I have here, and that's all I need to do for that. Right? So I will move on to remove any other extra space as required. Again, your editor or your provider ought to have done this for you, but just in case, then already know what to do. So this is another aspect I would want to turn to heading 2. So all I need to do is to click on heading 2 like this, and this automatically defaults to that. I will just remove any other extra space. So that's exactly what I will keep on doing for the rest of this particular book. So in order not to make this tutorial overly long, I will go ahead and do the rest of the formatting using exactly what I've shown you. Then any other part that does not fit within this range of formatting style, I'm going to do a video on it. Right? Hope that makes sense to you. So I've removed the extra spaces. Then this is now chapter 1. You see, chapter 1 stays directly beneath this last paragraph in the introduction. So I want to move this to the next page. So remember we did it. Click on layout, click on breaks, click on next page, and this is brought here. All I simply need to do to format this chapter 1 to look like the other chapter heading is come to home and simply click on heading 1 when my cursor is on this chapter 1. Yeah, and this is okay for me to proceed with. So I just remove any extra space as before, like so. I just keep doing that. Now, this is not how every book that you format may look like, but typically that's how it does work. So this is a potential heading 2. I'll just do like that, click on heading 2 like this, and everything default. So the thing about formatting is that sometimes it could look like a mundane task because it's more or less like a repetitive stuff. So what you just need to do to get it right is set all the margins right, set your initial headings correctly, and every other thing becomes like play. Right. So having successfully formatted the entire book using what I've shared with you, headings, spacing, and all that, mind you, what I did was simply repetition of everything I had shared with you earlier. It's just me going through everything and following the exact same process I had shown you. Now, the next thing we want to do is to now insert page numbers, and after page numbers, we will now work with the table of content. So, how do we insert page numbers? It's very simple. All you need to do is you can do it in two ways. Either you click on insert and you come to page number here, and then you click on bottom of page, depending on where you want the page number to be. But best practices is that page numbers are usually at the bottom of the page. Now, this is only applicable to paperback and hardcover, but for Kindle, it does not apply. So I'll click on bottom of page and then I'll select any of these that suits my requirements. For most book, we have the page number at the bottom center of the page. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see automatically all the pages now has a number. Can you see that? All the pages now has a number. However, there's something called preliminary pages and then the main body content. So you have probably seen books whereby pages like dedication, acknowledgement, table of contents all have Roman numerals, while the main body of the book, like introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, have real numbers. So I'll show you how to achieve that very quickly. And most times, title pages do not have page numbers. For instance, this our title page, Staying Fit for Busy CEOs, Max Wellness, does not require a page number. So in this case, we will remove the page number here. And how do we do that? Simply let your cursor be here, come to this part that says different first page, click on it, and the page number will automatically disappear. However, this will still remain on two. So I want to make this page now, which is usually the copyright page for most books, start with Roman numeral 1. So how do I achieve that? So click on page number here, come to this part that says format page numbers, click on that, and you'll be brought to this page. So when you look at this pop-up, what you simply need to do is to tap that part that says number format, change it to Roman numerals like this, then click on start at and make sure that this is on Roman numeral 1. Then you click on OK. You will see that this will automatically turn to Roman numeral 1 alongside the other content that follows exactly the same pattern. This is for the table of contents and it follows the same pattern, having Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. However, this introduction that is now a new chapter on its own will not follow suit. You can see this is Roman numeral 4, but this will have 5 as a real number. So an introduction forms part of the main body text. So I want introduction to start with real number 1, not Roman numeral. Real number 1. So all I need to do, I'll do the same thing, but this time, when I click on page number, I'll click on format page numbers, but I will not change this number format because it is on real numbers. All I just need to do is to come to start at and make sure that it is on real number 1. Then click on OK. So this becomes real number 1 while this ends at Roman numeral 4. You see, this creates a distinction from preliminary pages and main body text, and this happens to show up this way throughout the entire book. As you can see, all the other part of the book has real numbers. Now, the way this book is formatted is such that the copyright page is the last content in this page, and because this is also a preliminary page, or what we call end matter. There's what you call front matter and end matter, or back matters. So this is like a back matter for this particular book because it comes after the last aspect of the book, which is the reference. So we can refer to this as a back matter. And because a back matter, I want it to also have Roman numerals, right? So all I need to simply do, since it's 74, I can double click like this. I just double click the number here, come to page numbers, come to format page numbers, and simply just change this to Roman numerals like this. Click on OK, and this and this ends with Roman numerals, while this has real number. And that is all about formatting for page numbers as far as this entire book is concerned. The next, I'm going to now show you how to just finish up this book by inserting a table of contents. Now, what I will simply do, because I'm going to insert a new table of content, I will just highlight everything like this and simply delete it. I'll just delete this. Then, now that I've deleted it and have a blank page, I will come again to this part, but this time I will say reference. I'll come to reference, and then under reference, you see this part that says table of content. I'll click on it, and there are so many inbuilt table of content style that you can use. Either of them that you choose will work just fine, but for simplicity, I will advise you either go for table 1 or table 2. I usually go for table 2 for no particular reason because I just like to use it. So I just click on 2, and once I click on 2, you will see that everything in the book automatically aligns with what I have on the table of contents, including the numbers and also the title of that particular chapter. So if you notice that what I have here is actually the heading 1 and heading 2. All heading 1 have been aligned to the margin of this particular line, while heading 2 is being indented inwards. So as you can see, this is how it looks. Now, if you have this for your book, you are good to go as far as your book is concerned. But for fancy and for elegance, we'll just format this a little bit more. All I need to do now is just click on this part that says content, return to home, click on heading 1 like this. Let it just look at least a bit fine. Then I will highlight everything on this, and then just change one or two things, like changing the maybe the font style, and then making every heading 1 here bold like this. You see, I just simply highlighted the first one, and every other heading 1 also got highlighted and made bold exactly the same way. So now, if you have gotten it up to this stage, your book is now formatted properly. Congratulations. Now, the good thing about formatting this way is that the moment you get your book formatted completely like this, you have unknowingly or knowingly, if you know what you're doing, gotten the format you need for all three formats. You have gotten the exact formatted um, manuscript you need for both your Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. We are going to use this same manuscript to get these three formats. In the next video, I will show you exactly how to get those, starting from Kindle first, then to paperback, and then to hardcover, using this exact same manuscript. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to now use Kindle Previewer to create your Kindle format for your book. You will see exactly why I have recommended Kindle Previewer, because it will come out so sweetly, so fast and so adorable, and it's going to align so well with the initially formatted book we have created using Microsoft Word.